What do we do when we experience the judgment of other people, other beings, just like us, welling up inside of us? Well, the first thing to do is to notice the judgment, right? And if we're asking this question, then of course, and we've noticed that the judgment is of others and that there's some kind of situation in which it's welling up inside of us or we feel it. So, welling up, that would suggest that we're feeling it emotionally, right? We can feel it in our bodies. Maybe we feel some anger, maybe we feel some irritation. How could they do that? Or something like that. And the other thing to recognize about it is that the form of the judgment, beyond it being something emotional or in the body, if it's a feeling, then that's when it's gone from an emotion plus a thought, then equals the feeling. I think that's something I've gotten from Eckhart Tolle, where to feel something means you've already placed a judgment on it. So to say, I feel judgmental, is in fact to judge ourselves. And so something to recognize is if we feel judgment of others welling up and we've said, oh, this is judgment of other people, to first look before we know. So first we notice that we're doing that. We notice that we've labeled it that way. But then to step back before that and say, oh, I've just judged the fact that I'm doing judgment. And then to ask a question of ourselves out of curiosity and say, what this is, am I judging other people? What happened before that? And most of the time, at least for myself, what happens before that is a discomfort. So a situation that someone else is involved in, that is supposedly the situation I'm judging, is bringing up some type of emotional experience within me. A lot of the time, at least for me, I can say, and I'm sure for a lot of us, it's bringing up shame. And so it's bringing up shame of some kind of discomfort, maybe anger at injustice, something like that within ourselves. And so the judgment of others is basically us labeling an uncomfortable emotional experience within ourselves. But if we're able to notice that we're judging others, then we're like, there's an uncomfortable experience that I feel within me or that I'm experiencing. And now I have chosen to say that this uncomfortable experience and my subsequent thought about the person or about the situation is judgment. But if we stop and don't even give that thought any value, and we give all of the value to our emotional experience, then it really becomes about us and not at all about anybody else. And certainly we know that in a lot of literature and a lot of self-help folks will talk about how judgment of others is really judgment of ourselves. But before we even get to the story of judgment, let's just look at the emotional response, the emotional reaction, the emotional experience that is happening within us and say, what's going on here and how can I care for myself? If we look at that, then it really becomes about how is this an opportunity for me? So it's not so much this judgment is happening. I wish it wasn't happening. What am I supposed to do about it? This might be a problem. Instead, before we even judge our judgment, we say, discomfort is here. Here is an opportunity for healing, for self care, and for me to be able to care for myself so that I can then certainly not judge somebody else, but then love them as I am loving myself. Because we know from experience that as we love ourselves, we effortlessly love others. And in some ways, as we truly love others, we learn to effortlessly love ourselves. But it certainly is more harmonious, I would say, to start from the other way around, start with loving ourselves and caring for ourselves. And so if we can shift our understanding of when judgment of others wells up within us and see it as an opportunity, as I've talked about, a bunch of wild dogs coming over that seem maybe angry at first, maybe seem annoyed or irritated or they're going to try to hurt you. But then you realize as they get close up to you, you realize they just need you to pet them. They just need you to give them some love. And so if we can see judgment of others welling up within inside of us straight up as just this is a part of me that is asking to be seen, understood, and loved by me, then we can properly perceive the situation through the eyes of love. And not only do we let go of judgment of ourselves, but then a question of judging others is an non-question. Oh, I just misunderstood how I was feeling. So that's what I would say is something that we can do when we feel what we would consider, at least at first, judgment of others welling up inside of us, to see that it's not even judgment of ourselves. It's a seed of healing. Judgment of others is not even judgment of ourselves. It's a seed of healing. And if we can break down, take off the Russian doll layers and get to the root of it, that's what I mean. It's a seed of healing. We can be grateful for that. And maybe we're not always in the right state of mind or have the right conditions such that we feel able to go all the way down to that. And maybe we just need to let it go and say, oh, there's the judgment again. Let me just let go of that. But if we're willing to, we can go all the way down into that root of the Russian doll, into that seed, and say, here's the seed of healing. What is it that needs healing? What is that dog coming up to me metaphorically, that wolf coming up to me metaphorically speaking, that is asking to be pet, that is howling and growling, but all it really needs, or all they really need, is for me to give them some love. So that's what I would say we can do whenever we feel that hint of judgment coming up within us, whether it's toward other people, toward ourselves, both, when we're not really sure. Doesn't really matter so much. Just know that it's a seed of healing that is ready for you to water it.